What's up, traders, and happy 4th of July. I just want to come out with a quick little video here today because yesterday we actually came out with a recap video on the last trading month. And let me quickly just go here and show you guys one of the comments that was left as I was kind of recapping all the day trades and kind of the biggest lessons. So let's go back here, and Bill says, love that you moved the trading challenge to swing trades. Perfect timing with my schedule changing, robbing my ability to day trade mornings. And the reason I kind of wanted to point that out is because, yeah, so if you guys are totally new here, we basically have two accounts. We have the unlimited account, which we now do our day trading or gap and go strategy. Then we have our 25K challenge, which I moved to my Roth IRA account, which is a cash account. And that is the one that we are doing a bit more swing trading on. So we grew the 25 account from $4,000 to almost $7,000 now doing day trading. And I'm going to be switching this one to obviously the swing trade, so we can be a little bit more lenient with this one, or kind of grow it in a different way, my kind of bread and butter way that I like to trade most of my accounts the most, if it's crypto, if it's my large caps, mid caps, whatever it is. And then the unlimited one that is over $25,000, we can be quicker taking positions on that one, cutting out positions, and this is our one we use every day for streaming. But NKLA, let me quickly talk about this one. And this is a ticker that I kind of missed a little bit. I was not really, we were day trading this one a little bit on the way to the upside, but you know, this would have been a perfect swing candidate and I totally missed it. I mean, we had some really nice breakouts, just, you know, let me quickly change this, some consistent moves higher here. And this one kind of fell off my radar a little bit. Again, we had some really nice breakouts. This one had micro news and it had macro news. That's a big thing I always say about with these momentum tickers. Macro is like DGLY, where they came out with or micro is like DGLY, where they came out with, oh, I'm not standing today, with these body cams, right? And it had the macro trend of all the kind of protests, the police departments being in the news, more transparency. So it was one of those things where you have a general macro trend that puts the company in the spotlight, and then you actually have news where the companies, you know, maybe has, I don't know, new partnership, new technology, new something, right? So that's a really good momentum play. And NKLA, they are in the electric vehicle space, which has that big macro news. And let's kind of talk about this ridiculously big run up, because this kind of reminds me a little bit of SPCE, which we had some pretty nice swings with. And let me just go back here to the chart. I had left these trades out originally because I didn't want to kind of confuse you guys, but SPCE was one of those classic tickers that we were swing trading, and I love these kind of momentum plays that, you know, break out from big resistance. So when SPCE broke out and we were pulling back to $20, I ended up buying a position here. I held it till we saw a big crack in momentum. At first I thought it was going to be this candle, but it was still big green volume. It wasn't until we had a crack here of major support. Then I was like, this is too much for me. I am out of this one. I feel like I'm, you know, at this point over $40. You know, it could go to $100. I don't know, but it just felt a little bit risky. So that was kind of like the end of this trade for me. So let's talk about how we could possibly, you know, trade NKLA. With a kind of similar setup, because I love trading support and resistance. It's the most easy way to trade, I feel like, and that's why I just generally love it. So it's kind of one of those things with trading. If it's obvious and everyone's looking at it, oftentimes, oops, sorry, getting a crazy little ambulance here outside the window. Oftentimes everyone else is looking at it, and at least at the very minimum, you will get some sort of bounce. So where do you think I possibly entered this? I mean, just looking at this trade, I have an entry here on NKLA, and I know I want to talk about it a little bit more here with you guys because you guys are interested in these swing trades. So how am I trading NKLA? What am I looking for? And I'll tell you what, I entered this one on Thursday, which was the last trading day of the week, because on Friday was 4th of July observation day, right? So I noticed that, you know, intraday, if you go to the hourly chart, you will actually see that we've had many retests here between $50 and $55. And let's just quickly go to the hourly chart. And you can kind of see here, we had some tops at $59, $60 and this big breakout here. We also had a top at $54. Now, if you know anything about day trading, whole and half dollars are extremely important. So let's say, you know, the $2 zone, the $250 zone, and then quarters are too important too, $2.75, $3, $3.25, $3.50. Those are oftentimes psychological pivot points because people are just used to that, right? When you have change in your pocket, the quarter, right? Well, okay, not half dollar, but 2 quarters, right? $1, $5, $10. These are just, growing up. These are very psychological zones for traders. And let's quickly draw some more support and resistance in here. So we know now that, $60 is a key zone. We know that $50 is a key zone right around here. It looks even more like kind of 51 or so is even a bit more important, although it's kind of $49 area. Now, what I've noticed as a day trader over the years is that $5 can be good. What somehow pops out more is like $5.50. For some reason, it's always like that. And I was kind of thinking that's going to be probably true with NKLA. Instead of $5.50, it's going to be $55. So here we have a kind of, pivot points here between $57 and a low of 52 or so. So at the end of the trading day, I was like, I'm going to have a limit order right above 55. So let me go and show my trades. And that's what I did here. So I got a nice little entry here at 55.76. The reason I went with 76 is because I was talking about those psychological pivot points at 25 at $1, right? So those quarter, half dollar zones and full dollar zones. It pulled actually below 55 and pulled all the way down to 55.05. So this was like almost not a perfect entry, but it was what it was. It was okay. So let me quickly go to our day trading kind of screen here. So we got a nice little decent entry here, and then we had a very, very aggressive bounce. Now, I didn't know I actually entered this stock till after hours because I usually don't trade at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm basically done, right? I'm no longer looking at the computer, but I sometimes place limit orders at key support and resistance zones. So with NKLA, we also had a lot of news coming out on the 3rd, or the 3rd is Friday. So I'm going to be very careful trading this one, and I'll tell you quickly why I want to be very careful trading this one. If you guys know anything about NKLA, you've probably already done some research, and you probably already know about this news that's out. But shares float here is 107 million. To me, that's a big amount of float, especially as a day trader that trades small caps. We're typically trading stocks, under 50 million floats, ideally 5 to 10 million float, and sometimes even less than those, because those are companies that can go exponential very, very easily. They have that spike ability, right? So this is a decently high float. This is also a large company, so I don't really expect it to have these ginormous moves, although NKLA kind of has, and that's because it's kind of been a trendy stock. So these trendy stocks, sometimes you get some really, really nice kind of flash moves on it. Also, mind you, quick little side note, I used a very small position size here. This is kind of more of like a fun kind of trade here. I used half of my ideal position size. I used only like 950. I really typically want to be using like $2,000 for this account, this $25,000 challenge account. So yeah, I left a nice little limit order out there. But yeah, let's get back to topic here. And when I saw this float, I was like, that's a big float, because I was kind of going through some of their statements. And if you guys know, if you've been on this channel for a little bit, you guys know I check the 10Qs quite often. And let's quickly go to the 10Q here. And I always like to use OTC markets and then click on disclosures. And if you just kind of go here more, I found this actually kind of interesting. Let me click on it one more time. I think the 10Q pops up at one point. 10Q is a quarterly report. The 8K, maybe one more. How far do it now? Here's a 10Q. This was on the 11th of the 5th month. So let's quickly go here. That is May, if I believe. Quarterly, yeah. Okay, so this was published in May for the period ending in March. Okay, so good to know. If you come down here, I always like to see how many shares are outstanding on the company. And this is something I talk about. Where is it? Right in here. So you always want to be checking the number of shares outstanding on a registered stock. It's something that I like to always kind of look at. For swing trading, more so than day trading. On day trading, I don't really go to the filings that much because we're really trading price action more than anything else. But when you're swing trading, you're holding overnight, it's not my favorite way to trade. So I like to know a little bit more behind a company. Now you can see here, there's 29 million shares, basically 330 million shares of the company outstanding. And just a few months ago, now their float has increased much more. So I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a lot of dilution going on here with this stock. More shares are being sold into the market. And if you kind of look here a little bit later on, where is it now? The S10, you can see S10s are basically anytime a new shares are being sold into the market. So let's quickly go here to our form sheet. I think I talk about it somewhere here. Yeah, so anytime S1 or S3 is a registering of new securities into the market. So you really, really want to, be careful of that. That's a big sign of dilution, big sign of warrants. And just kind of going through it. Where was it? So yeah, we have warrants here with a outstanding as of June 3rd. So these can be exercised on June 3rd. That is basically Friday, Monday, or it should have been Friday, right? Let me see. Yeah, it should have been Friday, but the markets were closed. So a big thing is, I think there's a lot of anticipation that NKLA is going to have a big dump because all these warrants are going to be sold into the market. These new shares are going to be dumped into the market. And these people who acquired these shares, it was between $11.50. I think I saw some for $20. You can always go to exercise price. You can go through the filings in your own time. I don't want to hold you guys up too much in this video, but always go through kind of these statements yourselves. Do your own due diligence. This is kind of like my quick and dirty, just things that I check. So let me quickly close these out. And then, I like to make my little post here, just kind of think it through. So July 3rd, warrants become exercisable. There's also a Seeking Alpha post that I found. Several people posting about this Seeking Alpha article. I typically never check out third-party sites unless there's like a news article. But for me, day trading, as long as I know there's a catalyst, that's usually all I need. I usually don't check out these articles too much. Anyway, I know that there's big support here. I know that the support is cracking after we've consolidated for a while. So I am going to be very careful here, but I love buying dips. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of my top 3 patterns, especially near big whole dollar or whole support and resistance, multi-month support and resistance. And after, we consolidated for so long, NKLA, we're finally kind of retesting these support zones. There's been a lot of pivots here in this $55 area. We're retesting that after like I don't know, 2-3 weeks of consolidation. Sometimes, not always, you get some really, really nice bounces off these areas. You have to make sure your stops are tight. We know that from day trading. So what I'm going to be looking for, because I know that this is a crack of momentum, I'm very weary of cracks of momentum. I'm going to be looking to take profits pre-market. I'm not going to be holding this into the opening bell. We might have a nice spike into the opening bell, but I'm not going to wait for that. So I'm going to try to get out of this position basically pre-market as soon as we can. Hope for the best. Worst case, I'll cut my losses. No big deal. Use the small position size. I talk about position size quite often. If you're doing a trade that's not like your cookie cutter strategy, you're trading pre-market. If you're trading something you're learning for the first time, like the gap and go strategy that we picked up 6 months ago, you want to always reduce your risk. Having low risk is the #1 way to becoming a successful trader, because sometimes you'll have some bumpy paths, but as long as you don't blow your account, it's kind of like survive till you thrive, right? It's very, very simple. So worst case, if this doesn't work out, lesson learned. I shouldn't be messing around with the stock on such a close warrant date. I typically don't ever trade around news or exercise prices. I am very weary of that. So I'm looking to get out of this pre-market as soon as I can. I already have a limit order here. I might even move down a limit order, take my 5% profit and move on. Not a big, even if this thing goes down 50%, it's not going to be the biggest loss. Again, this is kind of a quick and dirty trade. It's not like my kind of go-to setup, but I do kind of like the big pivot points here. Anytime a stock that's this big sells off this quickly, you can almost guarantee that if I'm looking at it, I'm buying, because it just offers such a really good dip buy opportunity, especially near these kind of pivot zones. So yeah, selling pre-market is something I love. I really do think we're going to see NKLA back to 30, back to 35 pretty soon here. Maybe we're going to kind of kiss this 37, this $40 area. There's going to be a little bit of bounce here. All these bounces can be like 20%. They can be really, really nice. So I'm going to be looking for some maybe dip buys on the way down. Remember, if we do break this kind of $50 zone, that's a very bearish thing. So I'm not holding NKLA looking to break $100. I think right now we are on the backside of the move. If you guys watch my live streams, you know that I always talk about backside of the move being very, very risky. You want to take your profits quickly, usually between 4 and 5%. That's what I look for. So that's like 20 cents on a $5 stock. So it goes very, very quickly. I'm no longer looking for this to stair stepper on the way up. Now I might be totally wrong. Maybe it's going to actually blow through $100 and you guys are going to be like, Alex, you should have held. But that's not what I'm trying to do. My thesis right here is a short bounce. I want to take profits basically now, 4 to 5%, and walk away. And then, maybe after we consolidate here for a little bit, after we kind of go back to the lows, after some of the hype goes away a little bit, NKLA, has time to kind of grow as a company. Maybe it's going to have another huge run to the upside. But for now, I think any company that went from $10 to $100, that's a 10x growth in such a short period of time. I mean, literally a few months. It's overextended, just like SPCE. Anytime you have a nice move like that, they oftentimes get overextended very, very quickly. And then I'll be looking to maybe buy this on some, bounce moves. Honestly, SPCE and NKLA are very, very similar in the fact that they just went exponential. And at one point, what goes up must come down. And when it goes down, it's great dip buying opportunities. But you don't want to get stuck in a stock and, just pray that, it's going to keep going. Obviously, if you're, dividend, investing or something like that, that's a whole different strategy. Right now, we are, this is almost more of a day trade than a swing trade. But, I oftentimes hold these kind of positions overnight, making it a swing trade. It is in my swing trade portfolio. If I was day trading this one, I would have been out before the market closed. I don't like holding my day trades into the market close. I would have been out somewhere here, which actually would have probably fit my bill perfectly. That would have been 7% return. So I think the biggest lesson really kind of to walk away with this one, if you're kind of overwhelmed with all the information, is really just know why you're trading it. Don't get overwhelmed with all the news out there. Don't just blindly hold a stock. Know what you're doing. Look a little bit into the company. If you could just learn one more piece of information than you did last time, you're moving in the right direction. And there's no issue with losing on a trade or not maximizing your profit on the trade. Take those profits when you have them, and then look for the next opportunity. Worst case scenario, you leave some money on the table. And then always have tight stops. I mean, there is a chance that this thing just, doesn't even open up here and it just goes down past 55%. Boom, I could be taking a loss on this. You just don't know. This is a risky play for sure. I use smaller position size, good fun. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Drop a like if you enjoy these kind of swing trade reviews a little bit more. We definitely will be coming out with them a bit more now that we kind of switched up the accounts a little bit. And if you're totally new here, consider subscribing, guys. We go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. To review the watch list for the day trading, and then we trade the market open till about 11 to 11:30, sometimes 12. It really depends on the action. Guys, that's everything for this. I will see you guys first thing then Monday morning for the live stream. And until then, guys, have a great rest of your 4th of July weekend. Till next time, guys, stay safe, make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.